Hi, this is Greg Dorr with MediaLifeCrisis.com. For our next movie in this month's PopGap project of Kung Fu movies, we're looking at the third in Jackie Chan's Police Story series, Police Story 3 Supercop. Police Story 3 I like a bit more than Police Story 2, which isn't one of my favorites. Not as much as the first Police Story, which is a classic. Police Story 3 gets underway right away with Chan and his girlfriend May. She's still with him. And somewhat weirdly, her voice seems to have dropped 2 or 3 octaves. It's like Chung just decided to stop making May talk like a silly little girl and make her a woman. She's more confident, more self-assured. You kind of wonder how she managed to do that, being with this guy who treats her so horribly. But they even have romantic chemistry in their relationship. It's not completely asexual anymore, like a couple of kids on the playground. So it's a nice change, even though you do sort of wonder why in the world she has not run away from this relationship after all the abuse she's been through. And you think for a second, as they say goodbye to each other here, that they probably won't see each other much during the course of this movie, and that maybe this was just a cameo. But we will see May later on in Supercop. Chan is sent undercover into China as part of an Interpol sting on a crime organization, and while in China, he is reporting directly to an Interpol agent played by Michelle Yeoh, who nearly steals this movie. Not nearly. She steals the movie from Jackie Chan. The movie's best moments involve her. One of the good things about Police Story 3 Supercop is that unlike the second part, it is back down to a lean 90 minutes. However, Chan still seems so fixated on moving from Hong Kong-style action movies to Hollywood-style action movies, that Supercop relies more on big explosions and gunfights than it does on Chan's unique brand of physical humor, fight choreography, the kind of stuff that we love so much about Jackie Chan movies. This first fight scene, which is just a training scene, doesn't come until nearly a half an hour into the movie. This is a Jackie Chan movie with no action for almost 25 minutes. And it ends in a bit of silly slapstick, which is also something we're accustomed to from Jackie Chan movies. Not my favorite part of his movies, but there it is. He's hanging from a tree. The movie comes to life when Chan and Yeoh have to masquerade as brother and sister. Chan and Yeoh have such great chemistry together. She's such a great performer. She brings the best out of Chan. Also masquerading briefly as part of the family is the great Bill Tung, appearing once again in this movie as Uncle Bill. I couldn't quite figure out what he was doing here in China as part of the undercover operation. It doesn't really, I don't think that makes any sense in terms of the continuity of the plot in this movie, but you get to see him pretend to be Chan's mother, which is enjoyable. Really, the first half of Supercop is very forgettable. It's got some very generic scenes in it, until, as part of their undercover operation, they end up at this Malaysian resort, where it just so happens May is staying as part of a tour group she's leading. She notices Chan. She thinks at first that he's there cheating on her with this other woman. At first they try to hide from her because they're afraid that she's going to blow their cover, but they eventually explain to her that it's part of an undercover operation and that he can't be seen with her because it will lead to questions about who she is and why he's talking to her. Of course, May being here in the middle of their undercover operation doesn't mean anything good for May, who is going to be abused from this point on until the last time we see her in the movie. As much progress as Maggie Chung and May have made during the series, and the brilliant performance that she gave in Police Story 2, her character is really kind of thrown away in this movie in a really unfortunate way. First, May ruins the entire operation by telling her friend here that her boyfriend is at the resort undercover, which happens to be overheard by villains who are also sharing the same elevator, which leads to May naturally being kidnapped and being held hostage. As dull as Supercop gets during its first hour, its last half hour is utterly fantastic. Once May is introduced, things pick up. It starts to feel more like a Police Story movie that ends with this amazing chase sequence that involves an armored car, a van, a motorcycle, a sports car, a helicopter, and eventually a train. So the bad guy has May held hostage and wants to exchange her for his wife, who has been held prisoner by the Malaysian government. And the last we see of May in this movie and the entire Police Story series is unfortunately her being thrown out of a helicopter, bouncing off the roof of a car, landing painfully on the pavement. Chan rushes over to her to see if she's okay, calls a taxi to come help her out, and then leaves her there, all by herself, in the middle of a street, and we don't see her again. That's it for May in Police Story 3 Supercop. And in any of the movies, she doesn't return. So, as far as we know, that's when May finally got the cojones to say, that's it, I've had it. My physical, my emotional, and my psychological health cannot stand being in a relationship with this guy who treats me this way. But it works out for us if it doesn't work out for May, because we get this amazing chase sequence in which Michelle Yeoh, the stunts that she performs are the equal of any of the stunts that Jackie Chan performs, including her jumping a motorcycle onto a moving train, which she really did, and it is fantastic. So while Supercop is not one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies, it is pretty breezy. It's got a great finale. I like it well enough. It's just not something that I would probably recommend to many people. I had actually seen Police Story 3 Supercop in the 1990s when it played theatrically in the United States at an art house cinema here in Portland, but I didn't remember anything from it. I remembered one stunt from it, which it turns out was actually in Armor of God 2, Operation Condor. So really watching Police Story 2 and 3 was a brand new experience for me this month. And now that we've reviewed Police Story 3 Supercop, we can add it to our flick chart and find out where it fits in our list of our favorite Kung Fu movies. Add to flick chart. So the first movie that we're going to rank Supercop against is the 2014 animated feature, The Box Trolls. Alright, not a great movie. I'm not that thrilled with animation in general, so unless one is really special, it's not going to grab me, and that's why I'm going to pick Supercop in this matchup. Next up, the Japanese action movie Battle Royale, which is pretty much the same plot as The Hunger Games, but minus all the stupid stuff that I don't like. So Battle Royale is going to win this matchup. Other Jackie Chan movies have beaten it, but Supercop is not one of my favorites. The Kings of Summer. That was a really popular indie drama a couple of years ago. Didn't seem to do for me what it did for a lot of other viewers, but I still liked its bittersweet tone, even if the plot didn't quite work for me completely, so I'm going to pick The Kings of Summer here in this matchup. Wanderlust, David Wayne's comedy about a yuppie couple on a free love commune. Kind of amusing, not great. Supercop is pretty good, but not great, so this one is a real toss-up, and I'm going to vote for Supercop here because I can see myself going back time and again to watch those action scenes, and not so much to see Joe Latrulio naked. Now Supercop is up against The Falcon and the Snowman, which is a drama that I really appreciate technically. I think the acting is great. The story doesn't necessarily gel, but I think that it knows what it is better than Supercop does, because Supercop has a full hour where it's trying to be a Hollywood action film before it remembers that it's even better Jackie Chan action movie. Falcon and the Snowman here. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. That is a movie that we reviewed for our PopGap a few months ago when we were catching up on movies that kept lingering on our queue. And I liked it. It was kind of sweet. Maybe tonally didn't work in all situations, but I think overall I like it better than Supercop. Rachel Getting Married. This is a movie that got Anne Hathaway a lot of positive buzz, but she's not one of my favorite actresses. I always feel her really, really acting hard in her movies. So there are some scenes from Rachel Getting Married that I find very memorable and stick with me, but I think on balance it relies so much on her performance, and I just don't buy it, then I'm going to go with Supercop. Dolls. Dolls is a movie that I watched last October when I watched 49 horror movies during the month of October. I hadn't seen it before, although I had been a fan of other Stuart Gordon movies. It is a fun, creepy movie with some very memorable stuff in it, and I think that Dolls is a far more distinguished and original movie than Supercop. From Dolls to New York Doll. New York Doll is a really interesting documentary about a member of the glam/punk band, the New York Dolls, who is now a Mormon. And it's just about his life now and how different it is from his life when he was a rock star. Really fascinating movie. I'm going to pick that one here. Alright, another Harry Potter movie. I think I have all the Harry Potter movies in like a coagulated... Oh yeah, here we go. Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. Aside from the first one, which I think is pretty terrible, all those movies are just sort of a big glob to me. I think they're fine. I don't dislike them. I don't love them. Supercop is going to win this, just because it doesn't start with the two words Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Supercop. Zero Charisma. That's a movie I watched just a couple of weeks ago. It's a really interesting indie drama about a game master with sort of a group of maybe not so lovable loser friends, and this guy's a real jerk. He likes situations that he can control, and then a new element joins the game circle, and it sort of sends him off the boil. And you know, I did like it. I don't know if it was 100% successful, but for an indie movie these days, I thought it was really good, and I'm going to vote for that here over Supercop. Okay, so Supercop ends up at number 1319 on my global flick chart. So now let's go over here, back to the martial arts list, and I'm going to reload it and see where it ends. It's going to be somewhere down in this area, probably. Where is it? Police Story 2. Oh, Supercop, just slightly above Police Story 2, a little bit above Snake and the Eagle's Shadow. You know, I think that one might be ranked a little bit too low. I might have to re-rank that one by the time that this is all done. But, so there you see it. It's probably around number 30 or so on the chart. And that's it for Police Story Supercop. That's it for the entire Police Story series. I think if we have time this month, we're going to try to sneak in a couple of, not movie summaries, but maybe just some quick looks at things that we liked in some of the other movies from this month's PopGap of Kung Fu movies that we either hadn't seen or needed to rewatch. So keep an eye out for those. We'll be announcing our new PopGap theme in a couple of days. And until then, thanks for listening. Bye.